Hi class, how are you all? So I hope you are fine, doing well and preparing really hard for UPSC examination. So this class is going to be there on revision strategy while preparing for UPSC. Now this examination is widely considered to be one of the toughest examinations in our country. And there are a lot of factors which we can count upon that why UPSC is one of the toughest examinations of our country. But one of the major obstacle or one of the biggest apprehension among the mind of aspirants is syllabus of UPSC. And I've seen that whenever someone starts preparing for this examination, the very first question that comes into his mind is that how we can tackle such a vast syllabus. There are n number of subjects. You recall any subjects that you heard that is part of UPSC, be it philosophy, internal security, psychology, ethics, geography. Almost all the subjects have some kind of footprint in this examination. And that is why it becomes a very natural question that how anyone can tackle such a vast syllabus. And this difficulty is not only with the fresher, but even the rankers on the toppers, they all feel the same heat. And that is why if you see the interview of any successful candidates, then he adds one point that minimum number of books and multiple number of revision is the key to success. That means read a book 4 times rather than reading 4 books 1 time. In short, revision is the key to complete such a vast syllabus, and thus revision is the key to success. Now, what is the meaning of revision? The meaning of revision is very simple. It means revisiting the text. That means whatever text you have read, whatever videos you have watched, whatever class you have attended, when you revisit the concepts, that is called revision. Now, when it comes to the world of revision, then everyone says that do revise regularly. Revision is very important for this examination. But there are so many questions and so many doubts among the aspirants, and many of such doubts are quite logical. Some of the common questions that every aspirant asks is, how can I balance my revision with my static portion? What is the right time to revise? How much time should I give to revision? Should I plan for daily revision, weekly revision, monthly revision, or yearly revision? How much time should I divide when I have to decide that what proportion of revision should I go for prelims, mains, or the optional subject? So there are n number of questions, and so when we discuss this revision strategy, then it becomes the part of contemplation and deliberation, and we can reach into much deep into this topic revision, which appears to be a very simple topic. So be with me in the class, and I am going to cover almost all the dimensions with respect to revision. Now, before we start, I must clear one thing, that whatever strategy that I am going to tell you about revision, that is just general principle, and that is not a thumb rule. We all are different, we all have different tastes and preferences, and that is why I request you people to make your own strategy with respect to revision. But I am just trying to give you a direction. If you like the direction, follow it. If you do not like the direction, just mold it which direction, which strategy suits to you, and that will be different from person to person. All right, so let's start the subject. So first understand what is the purpose of revision. Why revision is required. So revision has a very basic purpose. The purpose of revision is reproduction of the syllabus. That means merely reading a book is not important, but you should be in the position to reproduce that book in form of answer and recall the text in form of MCQs. That means whenever you study any chapter, then in prelims examination you should be in the position that you can connect according to the option, and you can connect the text and the options. But when it comes to mains examination, you have to reproduce the text which you have studied. So this is the purpose of revision, to make this thing more powerful, to make this thing more strong. That is consolidation of entire syllabus in our mind. That is the purpose of revision. So I am making the crux. The purpose of revision is to make your job easier, so that you do not only understand or you do not only comprehend, but you also settle everything, every text that you read in your mind in permanent memory so that you can reproduce the text in your examination in prelims, mains, or at the stage of interview. So that is the basic purpose of revision. Now, the first dilemma that comes in this sphere of revision is that how much time should I give to revision in proportion to a static part. For example, if tomorrow I have only 10 hours with me, what I am going to do in 10 hours? So I have three options. Option number one, that I will read a fresh chapter for entire 10 hours. Option number two is I will just revise for the entire 10 hours what I studied day before today. The third option is give 5 hours to static portion, that is new chapter, and give 5 hours to revise what I have already covered. So again, these kind of options, it appears very simple, but it is very difficult to decide, and here you will suffer in a kind of dilemma, because whenever you will start revisiting your concept, you will start revising that stuff which you have already covered, your mind will tell to you that so much syllabus is remaining and you are investing your time in covering that part which you have already covered. Do not waste your time, just start the new portion, and as far as revision is concerned, just stay calm. First complete the entire syllabus, then once you finish the entire syllabus, then decide accordingly how much time you have for revision. And these type of options, these types of decision paralysis, and these types of dilemma will frustrate you, and at the end of the year, that means when the prelims examination, the mains examination will come to you, you will feel that your entire preparation is a mess, and you are not able to focus properly because you feel that you haven't completed the syllabus. So this sense of completion of syllabus doesn't come merely from reading, but it comes from consolidation of what have you read. That means when you read a chapter like fundamental rights, then that will not give you confidence, but when you are in a position to recall the entire chapter of fundamental rights, then only confidence will build you, a confidence that you have completed the entire syllabus. All right. Now coming to our discussion, that how much time should I give to a static portion and how much time should I give to revision. So there is a principle that is called Goldilocks principle. I believe many of you must be knowing about this principle. So this principle is nothing but this principle says just the right proportion. Just the right proportion. Now what is the right proportion? That depends on you. I cannot comment on that. I cannot comment that you give 50% time to static portion and 50% time to revision portion. That will depend on you, how much time you have to give for the revision and how much time you have to give for the static portion. So after this, I will just discuss some of the points and which will bring a kind of clarity in your mind with respect to this dilemma, that how should I divide my time with respect to a static portion, that is new fresh chapters, or revision of existing chapters. All right, just be in the class. One by one I am going to cover almost every dimensions of revision, and this is going to be a fruitful discussion. So let's start. The first point is revision during the first reading. Now what does it mean that revision during the first reading? So I told you what is revision. Revision means you just have to revisit the concept. Now I am telling you that revision should start from your first reading itself. That means along with your first reading, you have to go for revision. What does it mean? I will show you with help of one example. So in front of me there is book of M. Lakshmikant and the chapter is Fundamental Rights. Let me just read a small paragraph from this chapter. The first introduction, it says, the fundamental rights are enshrined in Part 3 of Indian Constitution from Article 12 to 35. In this regard, the framers of Constitution derived Inspiration from the Constitution of US, that is Bill of Rights. Part 3 of Constitution is rightly described as Magna Carta in India. It contains a very long and comprehensive list of justiciable fundamental rights. In fact, the fundamental rights in our Constitution are more elaborate than those found in the Constitution of any other country in the world, including the US. I have read this paragraph. Now I will stop here. I will start revising what I have read. So let me revise. So fundamental rights are Magna Carta of India. We have got inspiration from USA. It's quite elaborative. It is given in which part I am not able to recall. And in fundamental rights from Article 12 to I am not getting. All right. Now fundamental rights are very important. It gives us some kind of confidence. Now I will also add here my own viewpoint with respect to fundamental rights, that yes, it makes every citizen think in the line that they belong to this country. So that's all. Now see, in my first reading itself, I have revised this paragraph. Now again I will go to this paragraph once again, because I will have to find here which points I missed when I was revising for the first time. So I missed points like it was from Article 12 to Article 35. I missed that it was in part 3. Alright. Now what I will do, I will use my highlighter and I will highlight the points accordingly. So can you see, in my first reading, I went for my first revision itself. So funda number 1 is that whenever you are going for the first reading, revise along with the first reading. So in a way, when you read first paragraph, when you revise in your mind, and again when you come to the paragraph, then in the first reading, basically it is your 3 reading at one go. Once reading, one revision, again one reading. Now you must be thinking that why should I go for reading a book 3 times in my first reading when I already know that I have to revise this chapter in future. So why can't I simply read this book now and let me revise this chapter in future? So this strategy is wrong. Why this is wrong? Because the first reading is the most important reading of your life. Let me repeat, the first reading is most important reading of your life. Subsequent reading subsequent revision will entirely dependent on your first reading. Now the time which will be consumed in your revision, that is inversely proportional to the first reading. That means if you will give more time in first reading, you will require less time in revision. But if you will give less time to the first reading, then naturally more time will be required in the revision. So what is the first funda? The first funda is, whenever you are covering a book for the first time, read it in such a way that your mind should convince you this is going to be my last reading. I will not get time for revision. I will directly sit in the examination. Read the book as if you have to prepare directly to sit in the examination. If you will tell to your mind, to your subconscious mind, that you also have to go for revision, then you are going to make your blunder, because when your mind knows that you still have some chances for revision, you do not put so much quality when you read the book for the first time. So please keep this in mind, that first reading is going to be exceptionally important in terms of revision. The quality of reading in the first time will decide how much time you have to give in your subsequent reading. So are you getting some clarity with the respect to our dilemma, that how much time should I give to revision? So that will depend on how much quality you have given during the first reading. So I hope this point is clear to you. Now come to point number 2. Subsequent revision. Notes or marking. Now see, one of my classes is there for notes. I don't know whether you have seen that class or not. If you haven't seen, you will just watch that class, or if you haven't seen, just please watch that video of mine where I've discussed about notes making. So the thing is that we cannot split notes making and revision. because in your subsequent reading, you do not have to read the entire book. You simply have to read only that part which you have prepared in your notes or which you have highlighted. For example, in the chapter, in the paragraph which I just read about fundamental rights, I will highlight US Constitution Bill of Rights, Part 3, Article 12 to 35, Magna Carta. And when I will revise, only I will look after these words. So, what is the crux? The crux is that during your first reading, the way you mark your book, the way you highlight your book, or the way you prepare notes from that book, that will also define your revision strategy. The more purified your notes are, the more smart you are in highlighting the text, the revision will be accordingly. That means your revision will be very easy if you make good notes or if you use good highlighter and you are very smart in highlighting. For example, in this paragraph, if you go on underlining every sentence in this paragraph, then naturally when you will come to revision, you will feel that you are going to read this book once again. And then you will be in dilemma that rather than reading this book, because this is going to take my much time, let us go with a fresh chapter. So please remember this in your mind, that notes making is again very important. And why you are making notes? You are making notes so that your revision becomes easier. All right. Now come to, excuse me. Yeah. Now come to point number 3, that is, what is the right time to start? That means in what sense we are dealing with this question? The question is that what is the right time to start for revision? For example, say if I have completed today a chapter called Monsoon, when should I revise it? Should I revise it in the evening itself? If I have completed in the morning, should I revise it tomorrow? Should I revise it after a week? So how to deal with this dilemma? Let us come. So in case of revision, there are two types of lectures. The first is class lectures. For example, if you have joined our institute, then you will attend daily classes, or if you go to any offline classes, you will attend a class on daily basis. Now make sure that you are going to revise your class lectures immediately after the class, that means in the same day. Again, I have seen that students are fashionable in this task. Many people, what they do, they will keep their class notes for revision after a week. Now what happens, I will tell you. So say for example, if I am teaching ethics in the class, and say for example I have started a chapter called say Plato, then there on my whiteboard I will write only the keywords, but majority of the things I will keep on explaining. Now this is very natural that you won't be able to write everything what I said, but when you will go to your home and when you will revise my classes immediately in the evening, then you will recall my words also. If I give an example and if you miss that example, then also that example you will recall when you will revise the class immediately. But if you will recall the class of Plato, revise the class of Plato after 1 week, then nothing will remain and only keywords will be with you, and that won't settle in your permanent mind. This is the first point. The second point is this, that the task of postponing your revision will bring you in a situation where so much task will be on your burden which you have to revise, and again your preparation is going to be a messy affair. Remember that quality is more important than quantity, or at least quality is equally important than quantity. Do not keep quantity above the quality. Merely saying that I have read 50 books in the last 1 year, that will not help you to qualify this examination. But if you say that I have read 10 books with such a quality that ask me any question from those 10 books, I am going to answer, that will work in this examination, in this paper. So please make sure that as far as revision of class lectures are concerned, you are revising the class lecture on the same day. Now, uh, uh, apart from class lecture, the second thing is text. That means topics, chapters, books which you cover. So what should be the right time to revise? So dear friends, the right time is in the sense that please make revision a regular affair. Regular affair. That means whenever you plan, say for example today I am going to make plan of my next 1 week. In my plan, revision should be there. When I will make plan that I am going to cover these 5 chapters of my geography book, I must add that I also have to revise what I have read in geography. So revision should be regular affair in each of your planning. If you are going to say that what I will do tomorrow, if you are making a plan for tomorrow, then again add the flavor of revision also. So what is the right time to revision? Revision should be your regular affair. Now what is the meaning of regular affair? We will see in the next points. Now next point that I was talking about is style of revision. So what is your style of revision, or what should be your style of revision? Now different people have different style of revision. Some go for daily revision. That means what they will do, they will say that on daily I will put 2 hours for revision. Some will go for weekly revision. That means I will put Saturday Sunday will be only for revision. Some will go for monthly revision, that at the end of from 25th to 30th I am going only for revision. Some people will go for half yearly revision, that I will keep completing my task and I will revise all the subjects just before prelims examination or the mains examination. And some will go for yearly plan. That means if the people who have 1 year for prelims, so they will convince themselves that after 1 year we will go and revise. So out of all these styles of reading, half yearly plan and yearly plan, that is a bogus plan of revision, that will not help you. And making a half yearly or yearly plan, it means the same, that you have to revise the syllabus again. So let's start from the scratch. You are going to stand at zero from where you started, and this is going to be true. Even at this point of time, you may not believe my words, but mark it. If you will leave a book for 6 months, then that book will be totally blank to you. You will just have the vague idea and nothing will remain in your mind. So yearly plan and half yearly plan is a bogus idea. Now what is the best plan in daily, weekly or monthly? I leave entirely than that on you. Because again I told you, we all people are different and we have different taste and preferences. Now why I am saying you that it depends on you, so I will just give an example. Say for example I am a lawyer and I am very good in polity, then naturally the time of revision that will be required in case of polity will be not so frequent. For example, if I am reading polity this month from 1 to 30th, then naturally I know that I am very good in polity, I understand the things very well. So there is no requirement to revise polity on daily basis. But if I am reading a book like art and culture in which I am not so interested, then naturally I will have to make plan that whatever I studied yesterday, I will have to make sure that I will revise it today itself. Means what I feel that the subjects like art and culture in India, they are so vaporized in nature that you need a very frequent revision. So what should be your style of revision, daily, monthly or weekly? It will depend on your stage of preparation, what texts you are reading, and apart from this, in which environment you are. That means, say for example, you have 3 years for UPSC or 2 years for UPSC, then naturally you have more time for revision. But say you have set a target that in the next 4 months you have to appear for UPSC, then naturally these factors which will depend on your personal factors will be taken upon while deciding that which strategy is good for you. So whatever works best for you, you can go for that plan. All right. Then come to factor number 5, that is revision through during tests. See what happens. Say you people have started the preparation for UPSC, and say this is May, and you start the coaching right from today. So in the first month, say you completed polity. In the second month, you completed geography. In the third month, you are completing in the process of completion of history, and a test will start in the coaching, or you join any kind of test. All right. So that test is prelims test, mains test, or integrated test. Now what will happen? That many of you will try to synchronize your revision strategy, revision schedule with respect to that test. For example, when you will find the total schedule of test, you will say that in the first week of December, I have polity test up to part 3. So I will revise again up to part 3. After 1 week, we have first few chapters of geography. I will revise first few chapter for geography. If you go for this kind of revision, that means you have planned your revision according to the test. That means before test, as per the pattern of that test, as per the syllabus of that test, you have planned your revision, then that is a very good strategy. That is a very effective strategy, because you do revision also, and since you already have a timetable for test, you are also in a particular kind of fashion, you are in a particular kind of streamlined discipline. But practically it is very difficult. To be very frank, there are very rare students who can make a proper they can treat the test paper as per a schedule of the coaching institute. Normally it doesn't happen, but if it happens with you, if you can manage, then it's very good. Now I will tell you the disadvantage of this strategy also. Say for example, if you are moving along with the coaching test series, then what will happen? That you will say to your mind that I have only 1 month, only 1 week to complete half book of modern India. And since you have planned your revision as per the test schedule, what will happen? That you will try to revise half of modern India in 1 week itself, because you also have to cover the static portions, the new chapters. So what will happen? You will dilute your quality, because you have set the target that I have to revise half of the modern India in a week itself, because I have to prepare for the next test. So I am just making the crux. If you can plan your revision along with the test series with maintenance of quality, go for that. If you cannot plan, then please discard this strategy. Keep your revision affairs separately as that of test series. That means go and sit in the test series without any preparation, and keep your revision separate than of test series. But I am not saying to miss the test series. Test series is very, very important, but do not put much stress in the test series. Otherwise, your preparation, your long-term preparation will not be as per the planning, which is a purely personal planning. The planning of test series has been prepared by a coaching, but your planning, that will be prepared by you. You know the realistic target. Coaching institute will say, what we will say, that our time is fixed. First polity, 7th geography, then 14th history. But you might say that I need a gap of 15 days to complete polity, or 1 month to complete art and culture. So I cannot go with this timetable. Then please discard it and make your own strategy for revision, and make separate the two affairs. All right. Now come to sixth part, that is yearly plan. Now yearly plan is very important. Now you might be thinking that you people are totally fresher. I think majority of the people in my class, they are fresher only. So if you people are totally fresher, what is the use of telling you this yearly plan at this point of junction? Because it's a distant affair. No, it's not a distant affair. You should know this. Why you should know this? So that you can know today that what is going to be there after 6 months. So see, if this is the cycle for your examination, and say you start preparing from June 2021, then up to December 2021, that is in these 5 to 6 months, what you have to do, you have to give equal time of revision to prelims also and mains also. But from December onwards next year, that is from January 2022, and say June, prelims is in June 2022, then in these 6 months, more stress should be given for revision of prelims and less on revision of mains examination. After you have cleared the prelims examination, in these say 4 to 5 months or 3.5 months, you have to revise only mains. All right. Now, in this junction, that is, say if prelims is on June 2022, then it's a style of revision that 1 month before prelims examination, you have to give complete revision time to the prelims syllabus. Means just 1 month before prelims examination has to be there for exclusive revision. No new chapters, no new topics, no new books, only revision, revision and revision. And I will also tell you the style of revision. So there is a very fixed style of revision. Say we have 1 month, so I have written here. So in 1 month, say we have week first, second, third, fourth. So in these 3 weeks, that is first 3 weeks, 1, 2, 3 weeks, 21 days. In 21 days, you have to completely revise all the syllabus of UPSC prelims examination. And in the last week, you have to go for second round of revision. All right. So at least 2 revision is required during the last month of prelims examination. So you should keep in this mind. Why? Because when you will study your syllabus, it will be in your mind that yes, 1 full month is there for my revision, so that you will gain some confidence. All right. Now come to our last part, that is revision through past year papers or test series. So you must have heard that past year papers are very important. That's very obvious. Past year papers are extremely important. And past year papers is a very good source to revise the complete syllabus. Say for example, you have completed entire prescribed book of geography, everything. You have covered the NCERT, you have covered the class note, standard books. Now when you start covering the past year papers of geography of the last say 15 years to 20 years, then you will get at least 500 questions, approximately 500 questions on geography. And those 500 questions will be from entire syllabus of geography. You will get their world geography, Indian geography, physical geography, human geography. Entire geography will be spread, say, in these 500 questions. Along with the questions, when you purchase any of the standard books, then explanation is also there given in that particular book. So, see this, after completing this entire syllabus of geography, when you do 500 questions on geography from the past 15 to 20 years, then your entire geography gets revised in form of question also and in form of explanation also. So this is also a very good strategy to revise, but this strategy works when you have completed the syllabus entirely. Now coming to this point, test papers also have the same effect, and test papers are particularly important in the mains examination. Excuse me. test paper is particularly important in the mains examination. How come? Say for example, you are going to appear in the test in the examination of ethics, mains examination, all right, and you have taken 10 tests for ethics. You have joined some test series where you got 10 tests for ethics. Then in 10 tests, say if you get 10 questions per test, then how many questions you have got? 100 questions. So normally in any of the test series, you will get 150 to 200 questions from ethics. Now every good coaching institute, what they do, they also provide you explanation sheet, that is model answer along with the questions. So just see the magic. After completing the syllabus of ethics, when you will read all the model answers of those 150 200 questions, then don't you think that you can revise the entire topic of ethics, entire syllabus of ethics? That's very obvious. This technique also works very well in case of optional. So if you join any optional, then again in that optional, in 1 year you will get 15 to 20 papers, so many questions will be there, so many model answers will be there, and the biggest thing is that you will get questions from all the chapters. It's not only about one specific chapter. So entire syllabus will be sprinkled in form of model answers in a set of test series. So don't you think that very easily you can revise entire syllabus only on the basis of test paper? Of course you can do. So I believe I have taken almost all the probable dimensions of this revision strategy, and I believe this class is going to be helpful for you. And again, I am repeating my stand once again. What I told you is just a framework, is just a set of directions, but in UPSC, follow what suits you the best and follow that strategy which you feel works for you. So we'll see you in the next class. Thank you very much. Thank you.